Welcome back to Good Morning Football. Big show. We have DeForest Buckner on the program. Excited about that. Cliff Averill joining us. We have Catch Me If You Can. Stay tuned for that Which Guy Wednesday. But this is Whiteboard Wednesday. Can you guys hear that squeaking? Is Kyle right?
Sounds like a basketball gym.
I don't know what that was.
Here's the deal. Offense. There are some teams putting up some numbers so far this season through 4 weeks as we look ahead to Week 5 kicking off tomorrow on NFL Network. There are 5 different squads averaging over 30 points a game this season. That's the future of the NFL right there. Lots of different high-powered units. So I ask you, the most exciting NFL offense right now is who?
Okay, so I took it as this. If you have a blank slate of every game on, what offense are you clicking on your Sunday ticket to say, I'm watching this?
Okay.
It's still the Chiefs. They didn't go anywhere. They're still awesome on offense. They might not be able to stop anybody, but they are still the team I want to watch, and they're still the most creative. I point to these 2 plays in particular. Watch this one here. Watch Travis Kelce. He's on there. Nope, we're going a little underhand scoop shot to to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This was called the Tom and Jerry. Well, I like it because watch Kelce. You think he's the first option here. He's like, all right, watch Kelce. And it's like, nope, and we're going to go the other way. It wasn't the first time they did it, though. The second time, they go and they do this one. Same kind of deal. It's this, and it's a little backwards reverse. No other team is doing this. Watch Kelce again on this one, because I think this is fun. He looks at that side, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? It's all decoy. There's so many layers to this offense. I still think they're the most fun to watch.
Peter, don't you feel like it's so Fast and Furious 9?
Yeah.
We're like, we've seen it, we get it.
We've seen it. When the results are like,
worldwide.
This is it.
People love it.
This was last week. Eagles defense is nothing to laugh at. They came right in and did that exactly that. I got the Chiefs still. I know.
All right.
I might be a fan of the franchise.
Dom Toretto.
That's it. I love it.
Okay, family.
I like that one. There are some creative offenses, but I took the approach of, football coach, you know what I'm saying? If I had to explain the most exciting offense in the National Football League, and I went with the Cowboys. And I know it may not be a popular pick, but, I mean, they can beat you any way you want it, right? If you want to stop Ezekiel Elliott, they have 3 #1 wide receivers that they can go to and beat you over the top. If you want to drop 7 or 8 and be able to try to stop Dak Prescott, they have a running game that they can actually lean on. And Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, those guys can get the ball down the football field. And even if you know the run is coming, they can just pick you up, move you around, and get to where they want to get. So for all that, to me, the Cowboys have the most versatile style of offense in the National Football League. It ain't sexy all the time. There's not a lot of motions and shifts. You may even know it's coming, but you can't stop it. To me, that's what makes this the most exciting offense.
You guys, both the teams you put up played against my answer. I didn't think I was ever going to write this. I'm going with the Chargers. Double lightning bolt with LA. And you know why? Because I don't know what I'm going to get. Like, this Brandon Staley couldn't give less of a bleep about convention, about fear, about nervousness, whether it was the other night, whether it was in Kansas City when Peter's offense was over on the sideline watching Justin Herbert go for it on. They're going to go for it on 4th. Oh, too bad we got a penalty. Just go for it anyway.
4th and 9.
We'll go on 4th and 9. We don't care. If we got another penalty, we go on 4th and 14. I like watching Herbert, and I like watching this babyface Staley on the sideline just shoot from the hip and land it. The Chargers can't get enough of him right now.
And they've got the Browns this week. Kevin Stefanski, you might think, oh, he runs and he's simple, but he's got that juice in him, too. He
yeah.
stuff out, reverses and stuff. That's exciting to see how those 2 play callers are going to go head-to-head in that matchup. Now, Kyle, the 3rd season of your podcast, 10 Questions, premieres today, and you are kicking it off with a 2-time Super Bowl champion who flips the birds at the camera. It is named Eli Manning. How exciting. A, that's amazing. You asked him about his career if he would have remained a San Diego Charger, and here is his answer. Take a look.
Do you ever think about how your career would have gone as a Charger?
I haven't, just because I kind of knew when I made that decision, I wasn't going to look back. I wasn't going to have regrets. I mean, the whole Antonio Gates deal, I remember them talking to me about him. They're like, hey, we got this great tight end. We think he's going to be a superstar. He's never played football before. He's played basketball, but he's going to be a great tight end. Trust us. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, that happens all the time.
10 questions with Kyle Brandt. How was it?
That was funny.
He's amazing, and he goes on and on and on. I'm like, and by the way, that was a lie. If you didn't want to go to San Diego and hand it to LaDainian Tomlinson for your, it might have been nice, but he refused to admit it.
Any hints on how he did? I haven't gotten to listen to it yet.
The quarterbacks do really well.
Yeah?
Really well.
Smart guy.
Very smart guy, but some hard questions.
Download 10 questions with Kyle Brandt wherever you download your podcast and answer me this gentleman. Eli being a Charger instead of a Giant would have changed a lot of big moments, of course. The biggest what if in NFL history is what?
I'll go about 20 years earlier than their draft. Stay in New York City. Jets had the 24th overall pick. 2 quarterbacks are on the board. They select Kenny O'Brien over Dan Marino.
Go on, Peter.
Okay.
Ken O'Brien did go to a Pro Bowl, and he came out of California Davis, but he's not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And Jets fans have been haunted by this ghost of Joe Namath's legacy, and who's going to be the next one, and whether it be Ken O'Brien or Richard Todd or Vinny Testaverde or Sam Darnold or you name it.
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez, they haven't been able to find anyone close to Namath, and Marino is obviously the best throwing quarterback of his era. He might not have had the rings, but gosh, if he was in New York City, what would have that been like? Here's the list of how the quarterbacks went. You look at those bottom 2, just 3 picks away, and the Jets took them over.
That's some crew.
Over the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, of course, get Dan Marino, who broke all the NFL passing records as a Miami Dolphin. So that's what I go. I go 83 draft. Marino in a Jets uniform. What would have that meant?
That's awesome.
I was born in 83, man.
I get
sitting there looking at the
great year.
Taking Todd Blacklist, Penn Stater, went that year as well. Okay, so this isn't a history one for me, and I don't think it would have been the greatest what if in history. But I'm going to go back to this past offseason. You know, there was some turmoil with these quarterbacks. You know, these quarterbacks want to move and control where they go. What if Aaron Rodgers went to San Francisco and Russell Wilson went to New Orleans? Guys, to me, this was fascinating to me, and I almost wanted this to happen in the offseason just simply because I know how much Aaron Rodgers wants to play in the Bay, wants to be back in San Francisco. I know that's where he's from. And could you imagine Aaron Rodgers and a Kyle Shanahan offense?
Yeah, but it's that second one I really like.
But it's the second one. All right, Russell Wilson, I know he did some complaining, and then he came back and said, no, I didn't say my offensive line sucked. I didn't say that. But I get hit too much. But I'm not saying they suck, but I get hit too much. I don't know. I don't get what he's saying, but what if he had went to New Orleans and got with Sean Payton? I don't think we'd be talking about the pedestrian passing numbers down there with New Orleans right now. And honestly, if these 2 trades had happened or these 2 things happened, this would be the NFC Championship game this year. Point blank and simple. You're right. This would be the NFC Championship game. 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFC.
That's a fresh one. That's a classic. I have a deep dive. I'm going to put up this name. It's a name we all know. LeGarrette Blount.
I just had him on the podcast.
Quick story about it. All right, LeGarrette's awesome. Yeah. We love LeGarrette. LeGarrette Blount is playing at Oregon. It's the first game of his final year there, and there's a whole deal after the game in which he punches a guy on the other team, and he goes crazy that night in the sense that, like, he was really angry and was very, very, very close to going into the stands against some Boise State fans. The only person that held him back was Scott Frost, who was a coach for Oregon at the time. It is my contention that if Scott Frost was not there, I think it would have gotten really, 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 really ugly. And I don't think the Patriots would have won 3 Super Bowls. Wow. Because that's how many LeGarrette won. He won 3 Super Bowls and played a huge role in several big time games. I really think if you go back that night to Boise, if Scott Frost had not gotten involved like he should have and let LeGarrette cool down, I think at least one of these Super Bowls is coming off Tom Brady's finger because LeGarrette Blount would have never been a Patriot. That's my take. That's the deep.
Never a Super Bowl MVP. Never really gets the love for those wins.
No, but he's been awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, no, 100%.
I like that,
and not even in those games and getting them to those games.
Do you remember the player who he punched?
Yes, it was Byron Hout.
Hunt. Yes.
No. It was Hout. Peter, it's not Hunt. It's Hout.
Okay, obviously.
That was great. You got that.
I know. I wrote a lot about that.
Giardi, speaking of the Patriots, thank you for that brilliant segue there. Mike Giardi said that Belichick and Brady sat down with each other one-on-one for about 20 minutes behind closed doors after the Buccaneers win over said Patriots. The one-on-one sit-down, football or otherwise, that you'd most like to witness in person, be a fly on the wall of, would be which?
I'm taking it from today's headlines. I didn't know Vic Fangio had this in him. Give me Vic. I didn't realize this was going to be such a... Vic Fangio, basically calls out John Harbaugh's entire career and says this is their mode of operation there. Meanwhile, Vic worked for John Harbaugh. Vic worked for Jim Harbaugh. What is going on? Harbaugh was shocked by the comment, surprised he said that. Like, what? That's my guy. Let's have a sit down, and this might get Saints of Newark style. I don't know. It seems like Vic was like, look, this might not end pretty. Vic was not happy.
You don't want to mess with Vic. I'm just saying. Vic Fangio is terrifying.
I don't mess with anyone named Vic or the last name Fangio. Okay?
You want to mess with the Harbaugh family?
I don't know. I grew up in New Jersey. No Vicks, no Fangios. I don't mess with that.
I agree.
I'll take a Harbaugh over a Fangio. All right.
Yeah. Vic Fangio's a guy who has a nickname like Vic the Stick or something like that. Vic the Stick.
Do you think this is over and behind them, or is this going to?
I think it's over.
Good.
I think they probably spoke, but I would love to see the one-on-one and see exactly what went down because Vic was angry.
That's funny. All right, guys, I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here. All right. So stay with me.
All right.
Okay, you guys know I'm into the universe and all of those types of things. All right. Person I'd like to sit down with, Elon Musk.
Go on.
Okay.
Okay, Elon Musk. Now, I hear that Thomas Edison is like his idol, a guy that he likes or whatever. I'd like to understand if he understands kind of what Nikola Tesla did for the world.
Okay.
I'd wonder if he knows about the technology and all of those things. And can he possibly give free energy to the world like Tesla wanted to do before he was murdered and, you know, stuff was stolen? And I'm not going to get into it on national television.
Brutal.
But yeah. Elon Musk, I think he could change the world.
Can you imagine 17 minutes into that conversation walking into the room with Elon and Mike Robb, where they're going and what they're talking about? I'm getting like some sort of weird contact high just thinking about it. Wow, Mike, we need that to happen too, but 20 minutes is not long enough. I'm gonna go back to football, one that really resonated at the table. Here's who I want to talk for 20 minutes. Pete and the Beast. That's Pete Carroll and Marshawn Lynch immediately after the Malcolm Butler interception.
You don't want that.
Right after. Yes, I do, Mike.
I know.
Now, Mike Robb had just left the team. Now, maybe if they had a better fullback, they would have ran it, but we can't get into that. Still, I think the worst play call in organized sports history. I want them right afterwards when they're fresh, just like Belichick and Brady, but right after, and it has to be a minimum of 20 minutes. No 2 minutes unless you have to stay in there for 20. Mike, what would they have talked about?
They would have talked about why the ball wasn't handed off. We probably would talk about Super Bowl MVP possibility